everyone, it's Chen again. As I've kind of alluded to in my last video, things have been a little bit, difficult or different for the last couple weeks, so I apologize for not coming out with much content and related to game development. I thought I would go ahead and put out this video. I'm going to be doing a let's play of working with Ruslana. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize in advance if I mispronounce anything. My brain is a little bit fuzzy, but I really wanted to check out this game that was made by a friend of a friend, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to make some commentary throughout, and I will try my best to not butcher anything, although my reading out loud skills are not always the best. And I'm not exactly sure how long this game is, so we'll see if we make it through the entirety of the game. But I will leave a link in the description below for you to check it out for yourself. Okay, so first of all, I always like checking out other RenPy games to see kind of what other people are doing within that game engine. Looking at the title screen here, we've got customized GUI, and I always admire people who do different things with the GUI because quite frankly, especially with these menu options, I'm a bit lazy. I just, for whatever reason, think that the default RenPy positioning and a lot of these things is pretty good, so I'm like, oh, I don't really have to mess with that. But these sliders are super cute. Font is very clean and readable, and this white text here really always helps when you're working with a background that overall is either dark or medium, kind of tone. Is that the right word? No, tone is probably more talking about hue and saturation. Value. So if you could imagine this image in grayscale, a lot of it would be kind of like a medium gray. And so having white text outlined with this light black outline helps this text to really stand out and be very readable. If this was a background that was mostly very dark, then white text would work just fine. If it was a background that was very light, then having just black text would be fine. But if you've got a lot of medium value, like this image does, a good way to make sure your text always stands out is to do an outline. And so either have the text be very dark with a light outline, or have the text be very light, or white in this case, with a dark outline. That way you can be sure that your text is going to stand out even when it's on a mid value kind of image, which in this case it is. And I like the choice of colors. It's all very kind of got this sepia kind of tone hue that's very prominent. I'm not a painter. I don't come from a very good understanding of color theory and stuff, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I personally tend to gravitate towards low saturation and kind of more earthy colors, because they're just kind of easier to work with harmoniously. When you start working into really bright, highly saturated colors, they can look pretty jarring unless you have a lot of intentionality to take advantage of those things. So this type of color scheme is probably a little bit more up my alley, or what I'm more familiar with working with. Okay, let's go ahead and start. This game is set in the world I created for the webcomic Grimm's Adventures Guild. It features some unique race and setting names. If you have not read the webcomic, these words usually appear in bold and can be clicked on to give you a definition. Oh, that's really nice. The city of Oakenshire. A large city with lush farmland to the north and the sea to the south. Although Oakenshire is already a wealthy city, there has recently been a boom in the economy thanks to the fast-growing Adventures Guild. I always like this type of backstory where you can kind of feel the location is a living, breathing place. I probably put a little bit too much emphasis on some of like the politics and economy in some of my stories, but yeah, I always appreciate that like kind of attention to detail, because those are the types of things that can usually get like really glossed over when you're working in a fantasy setting and just rely on like kind of pre-established notions or like tropes. So I just like it when creators actually kind of take the time to at least like mention like where you're at. Because so much of like location, especially in like something like a medieval fantasy or like less modern type setting, so much of their geographic location is going to affect like the culture and the lifestyle of like the residents, and henceforth like the worldview of the characters in that area. Let's find this out. Hyugin, a race of people who tend to live in warmer, drier climates. They have unusual skin tones ranging from ash gray to deep purple and bright white or blonde hair. Reminds me a little bit of like dark elves. From the desert far east of Oakenshire, have heard rumors of this guild. Becoming an adventurer is supposedly a quick and easy way to make coin, and a little bit of fame too. Chasing those rumors, you scraped up the last of your savings and made a long journey to Oakenshire. I sort of really like these little icons for the save. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. These little stamps here, very adorable. These little wax seals, and I like the I know this is such a weird thing to be enamored by, but I like the fact that they used like this this floppy disk kind of like icon for the save on this old-timey like wax seal. Like there's just something about that I find really charming. Chasing those rumors, you scraped up You scraped up the last of your savings and made the long journey to Oakenshire. I do kind of wish that there was like a little cursor to kind of let you know that you need to click in order to advance, but maybe there is like an auto advancement that I just haven't been waiting long enough for it to trigger. But those are kind of like one of those little interactive things that I've noticed, especially for when I've shown some of my coworkers my games that have not played visual novels before, that some people actually don't know to click to advance unless you have some kind of indicator that's asking for them for interaction. Arriving, you are met with disappointing news. With the increase of immigrants due to the rumors spreading far and wide, the Adventurers Guild is no longer accepting applicants. There's just not enough work. With not enough money to return home, you opt to stay in Oakenshire. No positions available. Darn. You meet with Guildmaster Grimm regardless and get put on a registration waitlist. In the meantime, you really need a job. Relatable, especially in today's economy, right? You have no income and prices in the city are not cheap. While out shopping for essentials, you notice an unusual piece of parchment pinned to the side of a building. I believe this creator is a comic artist, and I can kind of like relate to a lot of these images that they have for these backgrounds, because I too come from like a comics background. So at least I don't know what their process is like, but like when I look at this like very clean line work with these kind of like solid colors and then very stark shadows, it reminds me a lot of my own process, where I tend to think of line first and then like color flats and then do like values when I'm doing like, and then kind of like final renders on top of that, where you kind of add a little bit of like texture or like gradation or smudging and stuff like that. I wonder if they have like a similar process. While out shopping for essentials, you notice an unusual... I keep going back and forth. My brain is a little bit fatigued at the moment, so I apologize for like forgetting where I'm at when I make a little bit of a side comment, but I do want to like add some commentary to reading through this. Upon closer inspection, it appears to be a job advertisement. Oh, I like this too. I see that this stamp is like a running motif. Shop assistant required at the Rustic. See shopkeeper Ruslana for more information. And then signature. Curious and in need of a job, you decide to head to the Rustic to try your luck. Despite not knowing where the shop is or how to get there, you find your feet moving on their own as you cut through small alleyways and side streets. You wonder if perhaps that was the enchantment on the parchment. As you begin to worry, you round the corner, seeing a swinging sign for the Rustic. The shop is nothing special on the outside. It perfectly blends in with the surrounding buildings. 2 large crystals sit at the door outside, and through the window you can see many more shelves and tables in the interior. So I appreciate how the background has been changing a lot, even though this backgrounds are very like similar. The little transitions as if you're like kind of moving through the town. Some visual novels might have approached this whole like kind of prologue-y or introduction kind of scene with like just one big like shot of the city. This one kind of gives you this more kind of personal, like I am at eye level in the city, and all these buildings feel very like kind of cramped, and it's interesting because they kind of look similar. Like I feel like if I was here in this city, that I would feel very lost, like trying to find your way in an unfamiliar neighborhood. So if that was the intention of the creator to kind of evoke that feeling, I think it was a very effective method. 2 large crystals sit at the door outside, and through the window you can see many more on the shelves and tables in the interior. I'm sorry, I reread that again. Parchment in hand, you exhale, steering yourself before pushing the wooden door open and entering. Closing the door behind you, you turn to look inside the store. I also wanted to mention that I really liked the music choice. Kind of sort of like a little bit lively as we were kind of in the city, and now we're going inside, this kind of very eccentric kind of music playing to kind of like play up that the interior, you know, of this the Rustic. Closing the door behind you, you turn to look inside the store. Viewing through the window from outdoors really did nothing for the beauty of the interior. The multicolored crystals catching light and shine rainbows upon the walls, floors, and furniture. The shop area is cluttered but also feels organized. Small paths cut through the merchandise stacked on the floor. It seems the Rustic not only sells crystals, but a variety of potions, tinctures, and other knickknacks. Can I help you, my darling? A voice can be heard from somewhere in the store. You weave your way through the crystals towards the back of the store. You can just make out a counter and the silhouette of a person through a haze of smoke. As you get closer, a woman comes into focus. Good afternoon, young one. What can I help you with? You offer the parchment with the job advertisement towards the woman. You mention you found this pinned to a building and are in need of a job while you wait for a position at the Adventurers Guild to become available. The woman looks surprised. Oh ho! Very well, I have been searching for an assistant for some time. I was beginning to think the parchment wasn't going to work. You couldn't quite hear that last part. Anyway, my name is Ruslana. I am the shopkeeper here. You may call me Lana. That's a very cute smile. I have become rather occupied of late with other business. I have a variety of things that need doing in the shop, such as cleaning, dusting, stock take. Very easy, very simple. I pay well if you work hard. You wonder what the other business could be. Should you ask? What is this other business? Yeah, maybe the less I know, the more comfortable I'll be working here. So do you want the job? Excellent. She pulls a scroll of parchment from her desk drawer. The contract. Sign at the bottom and you can start tomorrow. She hands you a quill, pre-dipped in ink. Motioning at the blank line at the bottom of the page, she smiles. Her fingers drum on the desk. You feel pressured to sign without reading the contract. That's never good. In desperate need of coin, you opt to sign the contract without reading. That was your first mistake, last mistake. Hello, cat. Hello, kitty cat. Of course, you went up here. Sign your name. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and sign my name. I need money bad. Jen, good name. Anyway, I'll see you at dawn. I just signed away my soul. Well, not so different from working in retail. You see yourself out of the rustic and head home. You realize you didn't end up completing your shopping. Well, at least you have an income now. You wonder what you've gotten yourself into. The next day. You manage to wake before dawn and get ready to head to the rustic. Not wanting to know what happens if you're late, you walk briskly through the streets, dodging early morning cart traffic and shop owners beginning to set up. Arriving at your destination, you see Lana standing outside, smoking from an ornate pipe. She spots you and smiles. Good, you're here. Today I'll show you the ropes and perhaps you'll meet some of my regulars. Entering the shop, Lana snaps her fingers. All the candles in the store light and the crystals begin casting their beautiful reflections. You spend the next couple hours shadowing Lana as she shows you where the shop's money is kept, how to wrap crystals safely in case of a sale, how to adjust stock counts in a manifest, and more. Your mind begins to spin with the sheer amount of information she's giving you. Just as you feel your eyes glaze over, you hear the front door open. Oi, Lana. A scruffy-looking boy heads straight to the desk at the back of the store where you stand with Lana. He's wearing ill-fitting clothes and has dirt smudged on his face and hands. Not exactly the sort of customer you'd expect in a shop like this. Good morning, Devin. Lana seems to know this urchin. Me and the lads went to our spot this morning, and there is no food for us. We paid our dues, gave you the info you asked for. We stuck our neck out for you, pinching a wallet from the Mark II. That Mark II. What gives? Stand there awkwardly. What's he talking about? Information? Stealing? You begin to take a step back. The urchin finally notices you. Oh, who's this then? He looks you up and down. His eyes linger on your coin pouch dangling from your belt. Just as you begin to open your mouth to respond, Lana cuts you off. Devin, my lovely, lovely boy, this is Jen, a new assistant for the shop. Now, why don't we have this discussion another time? She's smiling, but you can see she is gripping Devin's shoulder rather tightly. He looks scared. I can come back later, ma'am. Devin's voice wavers. That would be best, my boy. Lana releases his shoulder and he backs away, quickly leaving the store. I'm so sorry about that, my dear. I provide food for Devon and the young orphans of Oakenshire out of the goodness of my heart. You sense there may be more to the situation, but it's probably for the best that you don't press the issue. For the rest of the day, you help Lana with sales of crystals and other items bought a variety of customers. It seems Lana has a large and loyal customer base, from the regular shopkeepers to nobles from the chancery. It's impressive. As the sun begins to set, Lana approaches you with a small pouch. Here, your pay for the day. She drops the pouch in your hand. It's a lot heavier than you thought. 100 silver pieces for you. I added a little extra to cover this morning's incident. It seems a bit uncalled for to refer to the orphan as an incident. Still, 100 silver pieces is almost the same amount you moved to Oakenshire with. You'd be a fool not to take the money and continue this job no matter how strange it is. It's just until you can work as an adventurer, after all. You smile and thank Lana for the money for the training today. You promise to see her at dawn again tomorrow. The next day. Once again, you rise before dawn and head to the rustic. You wonder what today will bring. On the way, you pick up some breakfast, some bread, and a large wedge of cheese. You make it to work and start your day. Starts out calm enough, you feel more confident in how Lana runs her store and the sale process. Locating the stock that customers ask for is the hardest part, and you often need help. Around lunchtime, you hear the front door open and go to greet the customer. You recognize this man as Guildmaster Grimm from the Adventurers Guild. As you remember from the first time meeting him, he is surprisingly disheveled for a master of a successful guild. Dark circles under his eyes and stubble seem to show that he either has no care for appearances or is much too busy to bother. You suspect it may be the latter. Unsure if he would remember you, you approach him like any other customer. Ah, Chen. I see you've managed to find something to keep you occupied while you wait for a guild member position. You are taken aback. Grimm must see hundreds of people every day. To think he would remember you. Is Ruslana here? You notice he's holding a large stack of papers and some scrolls of parchment. Before you can answer, you hear Lana's voice in the distance. Is that you, boy? Lana comes out from the back room in a cloud of smoke. She looks particularly smug today. You wonder if Grimm and Lana are close. Grimm sighs. Hello, Ruslana. I brought the maps and paperwork pertaining to those trade routes you asked me to clear. Good boy, I know you get the job done. Lana reaches behind her counter and brings up an ornate box. And here's your reward. From where you're standing, you can't see what's inside the box. You wonder what business Lana and Grimm have. You don't feel brave enough to get closer. You decide to stay out of the way and get some general tasks done. Ignorance is bliss. If you ever get in trouble, you can always just say you didn't know. While Grimm and Lana chat, you continue to tidy up. After a few minutes, Grimm seems to be prepared to take his leave. He approaches you just before he opens the door. Don't let her work you too hard now, you hear? He laughs, but then comes in close. She's a mysterious woman, but a formidable ally. Do your best to stay on her good side and you'll be set for life. He pulls back and slaps you on the shoulder. Good day. I do feel like this game could benefit from having a little more sound effects. Normally, I probably wouldn't have been thinking about it much myself when I first got started, but since I have a friend who works in sound effects and composition, when I saw what she added to one of my projects, like just having something like kind of like a pat sound there whenever there's that type of interaction, is not as repetitive as I thought it would be, and actually can add a little bit to the sort of looping music to kind of just add a little more variety for your ear to pick up on and give a little bit more immersion. The door shuts behind him and you can't help but feel a little uneasy. Like right there, I feel like having just like one of those door sounds would have been a little bit helpful too. Maybe I'm just kind of used to hearing those things now, that when it's absent, it feels like I'm missing it. I'm not sure. Just my opinion. Lana begins humming while tapping her pipe into an ashtray. He's a good boy, that Grim. You nod in agreement and finish your tasks for the day. You get your payment and head home, Grim's words still echoing in your head. Walking home, you reflect on your last few days. You never imagined your life in Oakenshire would be like this. You're supposed to be making money, completing quests, and becoming a town hero. At the very least, you're making enough coin right now. You just have to last until the member registration opens at the Adventurers Guild. The next day. You are beginning to wake before dawn, much easier now, despite it only being 3 days since you started your job at the Rustic. You head on your way once again, picking up breakfast on the way. As you round the corner, you catch something out of the corner of your eye. Looking over, you see a man crouching behind a plant, watching the door of the Rustic. But you can tell he seems to be wearing the uniform of a Chancery Guard. Oh, can I go back? I should have read what that was. An elite group especially trained to guard the Chancellor. Piter. Did I pronounce that right? What would he be doing here? This area is patrolled by the City Guard. You have some time before the shop opens. Will you approach the man? Didn't see it. That's apparently my personality in this game, is just don't know, didn't see it. Just give me my money, let me work and go home. That's how I normally treat most of my jobs. After watching the man for a few minutes to see if anything would happen, you decide to leave him alone and enter the store. Lana greets you. You're a little tardy this morning. Did something happen? You mentioned seeing a man in a Chancery uniform watching the store. Alexei. She seems to know who you're talking about. Just leave him be. He comes here every week hoping to speak with me. He's a fool. I can't be bothered dealing with him today. Lana doesn't mention Alexei and seems somewhat disgruntled for the rest of the day. You decide to stay out of her way and not bring him up. The rest of your day is completely uneventful. You get your coin and head home. The next morning, while you're heading to work, there seems to be more commotion in the street than usual. You see a group of shopkeepers chatting about something, their voices hushed. As you walk past, you manage to overhear a part of their conversation. They're back, you know, them pirates. Pirates, surely not. Oakenshire has a large dock for both import and export, but you highly doubt the Chancery would allow pirates to freely dock. You assume that's just idle gossip and is likely a merchant ship with a bad reputation. As you head down the street towards the Rustic, you begin to hear a commotion. It sounds as though someone is having an argument. You sigh. It's coming from the Rustic. Can I just call in sick today? You gingerly open the door and are greeted by a scene of a large man in a naval jacket standing between Lana and a small woman with red hair. Now, ladies, please. There's no need to fight over me. Ugh. Why would we really be fighting over you, imbecile? Oh, Lana, you wound me. After I came all this way to see you, too. Wink. You accidentally kick a crystal on the floor and everyone turns to look. Oh, I like that. The eyes just boop, slowly shift. Oh good, you're finally here. Lana does not seem to be in a good mood today. You're handling the store today. I can't be here with this sea creature. She seems to be referring to the woman. creature! You're the one who hired us to smuggle this merchant. Smuggling for crystals? Surely she just means importing or something. Yes, and I was expecting some manner of professionalism. Not for you to come in here before the store opening and immediately smash 3 of my breast crystals. Bengal, did you really have to bring this feral child with you? You realize the crystals you kicked was indeed smashed and laid strewn across the walkway to the counter at the back of the shop. Ugh, I despise women like you. All nice and cozy in your city shop with your city house. You have no idea what it's like in the real world. One pushes past the man, getting dangerously close to Lana's face. Lana looks extremely angry. Are things about to get out of hand? You think about trying to step in, but the man pipes up. Alright, ladies, that's enough, thank you. The man cuts between the 2 women again. This time he picks up the redhead and throws her over his shoulder. I'll come back, Lana. He hurries out the door, and the woman fighting him every step of the way. You're still standing awkwardly in the shop, unsure whether you should say anything. Better not to say anything. Lana sighs. Just get yourself a broom and start sweeping. Honestly, I'm starting to think I don't get paid enough to take on jobs like this anymore. You're starting to think you're not getting paid enough either. Like I said, Jen, I'm going out today. You'll be fine. Lana gives you a list of tasks to complete for the day. It's mostly things you know how to do now. If that man comes back, tell him I'll be at the Trafalgar. The Trafalgar is a tavern and inn next to the Adventurers Guild. Adventurers can board there short term while handling inquests and waiting for a new assignment. It's owned by a woman named Tama. She is married to Grim and is quite infamous in her own right. You nod and tell Lana to not worry about the shop, you'll manage. You're a good child. Have a day off tomorrow. You wave Lana off and begin setting up for the day. You tidy up the broken crystals first. Some of the shards are still usable, so you set them aside. After a few hours and even fewer customers, the man from this morning walks back in. Trafalgar. This time without the woman. Well, hello, shopkeep. Why do you get the feeling that he is about to get on your last nerve? You greet him pleasantly and inform him that Lana is at the Trafalgar. Right. I mean, I don't have to rush there. Shifty eyes. So I haven't seen you from around here before. Where are you from? I'm Bengal, by the way. You knew it? Come on. Oh, come now. Don't give me that face. I just like to know people in the towns I visit. I'm a merchant. He leans upon the counter. Why don't you close up shop and meet me at the tavern by the dock? I know a good place. I'm sure Elia and the crew would love to meet you properly. Dude, I have nothing to do with any of this. I just sweep here. Does he really think you dream of betraying Lana's trust like that? He stands back upright and shrugs. Suit yourself. I'll be in Oakenshire for the next 2 weeks if you change your mind. You'll be able to find me at the docks. I have the biggest ship. Sure you do. He winks and turns to leave the shop. Wink. Once he's gone, you let out a sigh of relief and let your face contort into the grimace you've been holding back for a while he was there. Lana sure seems to know a variety of colorful people. At the very least, you have the day off tomorrow to recover from the chaos of the week. You finish up your tasks for the day and head home. The next day. Lana gave you the day off today, so you are free to roam the city. This is one of the first times you've had a chance to do since arriving in Oakenshire and starting your job. Where should you go? Not there. Stay clear of that group. This sounds like drama already. The Trafalgar is a tavern and inn next to the Adventurers Guild. Adventurers can board there short term while handing in quests or waiting for new assignments. Oh, so this was actually already explained in that little tooltip. She runs the tavern with a no-nonsense attitude, but is well loved by the regulars. You decide to head there for lunch, and maybe you'll be able to have a relaxing chat with some of the locals over a couple of ales. Entering the tavern, you are greeted by the smell of roasting meat, ale, and smoke. It's lively, but not too loud. This seems perfect for your day off. You head to the bar to order some food and drink. Hello there, stranger. The bartender is tall, beautiful. Modgin, a race of people who typically live in mountainous areas. They usually have pale skin, dark hair, elongated ears extending from their heads, judging by her protruding ears. What can I do for you? Or what can I do you for? You glance around for a menu and spot one on the chalkboard on the wall. You order the daily special, mountain goat stew and an ale. Have a seat, young one. Tell me about yourself. I'm Tama, by the way. I own this tavern. So this is the famous Tama. She hands you a pint of ale. You have any problems, you'll come see me, right? You have any problems, you come see me, alright? You smile. You feel a motherly energy coming from Tama. You tell her about your current situation, moving to Oakenshire, your new job. Oh, working at the Rustic. Is Lana being good to you? She'd better be. She better be. Tama laughs, but you can tell she has some concern in her voice. Anyway, I'll get that stew for you. Tama heads out the back of the bar to what you assume is the kitchen. You sip your drink while listening in on conversations around you. You overhear various adventurers telling others about their most recent exploits, as well as their general chit-chat from townsfolk. You begin to smell food coming from the kitchen behind the bar. Your mouth begins to water in anticipation of your meal ahead. Suddenly you hear a loud thumping footsteps from upstairs. Here's another spot where it kind of feels like it's really missing that sound effect. You overhear another patron. Zep Buddy Yazgin Brad again. Yazgin. Seems like all the people have all the different races kind of end in that. A race of people who usually very reclusive, choosing to build villages and colonies within caves. Their skin tone varies, but they typically have unusual hair colors, cat-like eyes, and small protruding ears with hair growing out of them. A Yazgin. Don't usually see them near regular cities. The thumping is getting closer to the top of the stairs. You look over and see a blur charging down the steps to the center of the tavern. Ha! Do not fear, adventurer. Stasia is here. Collective groan echoes from the patrons in the tavern. A few people finish up their ale and leave. Tama returns with your food and drink. Here's the stew and... Stasia, what have I told you about disturbing the other people here? Man at the bar pipes up. You need to control that feral beast better, Tama. We'll stop coming if you don't. See if I care. Stay out of this, Francis. You stay out of this, Francis. Excuse me. Tama turns to you. Sorry about that. Stasia, get over here. Child trapezes over to Tama, looking dejected. Sorry, Tama. Look, I know you're excited to be an adventurer, but other people are just here to relax, okay? She looks back over to you. This is Stasia, a kid Grim and I found begging on the street. We don't know why she's in Oakenshire, but she's very food and money motivated, so we gave her a job at the guild. Stasia, go see Grim. I'm sure he's got a job for you. Okay, bye, Tama. Stasia runs off. We just give Stasia a very simple task to keep her out of trouble, but sometimes it's easier said than done. Tama sighs, but she looks happy. Anyway, enjoy your food. We spend the rest of the afternoon at the tavern chatting with other patrons and Tama. As the sun sets, the tavern door opens and a group of people enter. Much to your chagrin, it's Bengal and his crew. You sigh and look into your drink. Guess there is no avoiding him. All choices lead to having to interact with this person. He's a actually hasn't really done anything yet that I find unforgivable or a reason to avoid him. It's funny. Everybody else is treating him like he sucks. Elia and the crew claim a table and start relaxing. Bengal walks up to the bar. Tama, how are ya? Long time no see, Bengal, you old dog. To your surprise, Tama and Bengal seem to know each other. You feel relieved. Maybe you'll dodge an awkward encounter after all. We're back in town for some business. Be here for 2 weeks. Oh, Grim will be pleased. He loves to reminisce with you. Aye, only if I bring him some sea-beast whiskey. Haha. Apparently, Grim Master Grim and Bengal know each other as well. Why does everyone you meet seem connected somehow? Pondering the thought, you sense eyes on you. Except for, like, Francis and whoever else doesn't have a portrait. Well, shopkeeper. You didn't come to see me at the docks, but I guess fate can't keep us apart. Wink. Seemed like it needed one there. Come on, let's all have a drink together. We can tell you stories of distant countries and the high seas. Well, there it is. We knew it was coming. You finally oblige and sit down at the table with Bengal and his crew. That's a nice illustration. Surprisingly, your night wasn't too bad. Very cozy feeling. Tama keeps the drinks and food flowing, and the stories were unique and gripping. Apparently, Bengal's alcohol tolerance has been getting worse over the years, as he quickly fell asleep in his chair, still holding a half-finished drink. Elia and the crew took this opportunity to regale you with embarrassing tales about him. After a few hours, well past your bedtime, you decide it's probably for the best you head off. You don't want to head to work with too much of a hangover after all. You thank the crew and Tama for a great night and slowly stumble your way home. The next day. Despite drinking far too much ale yesterday, you feel refreshed after your day off. Gotta decompress. On your morning walk to the rustic, you begin to think about your current predicament and job. You make pros and cons list in your head. On one hand, the coin is good, the job is stable, and one location is simple work. On the other hand, Lana is quite an unusual boss. There seems to be something else going on with her and the people you've met while working at the rustic. Would being an adventurer really be better? Before you know it, you've arrived at work. Your mind still racing, you enter the store. Don't overthink it. As you enter, you see Lana and Grim. Good morning, Jen. You greet Grim, surprised to see him. Grim was just coming to inform myself and you that the guild has some spaces for new guild members. Yes, I had some unexpected... Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I had some unexpected departures from the guild. I'd like to offer you a membership if you still want it. You're taken aback. You didn't think this was going to come up so soon. I'm just getting used to this job. Both Lana and Grim are looking at you expectantly. They're both busy people, so it seems you won't have much time to make your decision. Where will you go? It's where I came for. Sorry, Lana. Although, if I'm honest, I would rather just sweep floors than have to throw myself at dragons, but if I'm in the role of the shoe of the character who actually came here to join a guild, I'm assuming they're looking to do more than sweep floors. Even if that would be the ideal life for me. Grim and Lana both smile. You notice Lana's eyes look a little sad. Very well, let's head to the guild and get you started on the paperwork. I will warn you, there's quite a lot. Well, I'm sure there's lots of liabilities you have to keep your self covered for. Grim heads out the door. You turn to Lana. Thank you for working with me this last week, young one. It's been most enjoyable. You smile and thank Lana. You wish her luck in running the shop. Thank you, my darling. Have fun now. As you leave the shop, you hear the sound of paper tearing. Grim is waiting for you outside. What was in that fine print on the contract that we didn't bother reading? Bad feeling about that. Let's go, shall we? You nod and follow Grim. As you walk back from the rustic, you think back to the week and how eventful it was. It's truly an interesting week. Interesting? Why was it interesting again? What happened this week? You try to recall what you did while waiting for your guild membership. You can't seem to remember the face of the woman you were working for. That woman? You shake your head. You must have had far too much ale to drink if you can't remember what you did. You laugh at yourself and enter the guild after Grim. After filing out a ridiculous amount of paperwork, you are now officially a member of the famous Adventurers Guild. Dressed in your new cloak and armed with the guild-supplied weapons, you leave Grim's office. Smiling ear to ear, you feel truly excited. There's no time to dwell on the past. Onwards and upwards. And you reach the guild end. Congratulations, you achieved your goal of joining the Adventurers Guild. What will your future hold? Fame and glory. This would be more realistically my future. Okay. I really enjoyed that. Thanks for watching along if you've made it to the end here. What choices would you have made? I'll provide a link in the bottom below, and maybe you find out some things that I did not. Alright. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, don't forget to enjoy the process. Bye.